We are going to jump right into our Wonders curriculum today. And today, what we're going to talk about is how people respond to natural disasters. I want you to look at this photo and think about how people respond to these natural disasters. You can also say hi to Eli. Um, if you look at this, forest fires are a hazard. We've had lots of them. California has a lot of them, actually, and I think there might be one going on there now. Um, They are a danger during the dry, windy season, which is now. Helicopters can hover over them, like this one is, and they can drop some water on it. And then after a disaster, people have to work extra hard to find people that might have been trapped or are hurt, and they try to rescue them. Um, what do you think some of the hazards of being a rescue worker during this time would be? I want you to pause the video and think about that for a second. In your reading writing companion, you should see on page 1, you should see that photo that I just showed you. And then next to it is a web that we're going to work on filling out a little bit together and a little bit on your own. So what I'm going to do is, here's my web. I'm going to go over here to the text, the type box. And if I click here, I can start typing. What I'm going to do is I'm going to type in natural disasters. And then I am going to, in each of these, I'm going to write in different ways that people could help or respond during a natural disaster. One of the things I'm going to put in here is that use water from helicopters to fight forest fires. Okay. Another thing I might do is it doesn't always have to be about forest fires. I might remove fallen trees after a hurricane. I want you to fill in the next two on your own. So push pause. We're going to be working on reading expository text. And when we read those, expository text is nonfiction, so it's true. When we read those, I'm going to look at things like the heading where it says avalanche, common triggers, prevention and rescue. Those are different things that are going to be covered under each of these sections. And it kind of gives me a preview of what we're going to read. I'm going to read this to you, and then when I get to these, we're going to think about things. Avalanche. An avalanche is a slab of snow that slides quickly down a mountain. As the snow mass moves, it picks up more snow. It grows larger and more deadly as it plunges down the slope. Each year, more than 150 people die when they become trapped under the sliding snow. I want you to think about this. I will use what I know about snow to help me understand what avalanche is and how it forms. I can reread anything I do not understand. So if you didn't know any of this, you could go and reread it. Maybe that would give you some help. Maybe you know a lot about snow since we live in Michigan, and what you know helps you picture this in your head. Common triggers. An avalanche must be triggered by another force. New snow, brisk wind, or loud noise can cause heavy mass to break away. More often, people on skis, snowboards, and snowmobiles act as a trigger. So a trigger is something that's going to like start the avalanche. It could be something as simple as a snowboard. That's what that means there. Prevention and rescue. Trees are the best natural defense against an avalanche, but in many places, trees have been cut for wood or to form ski slopes. In some areas, experts create a small, controlled snow slides. Before the slopes are open to skiers, they use cannons or other blasts to break up a large snow mass. I didn't know that people could prevent an avalanche by blasting it with dynamite or anything like that. So that was pretty interesting. Let's keep going. Taking a safety course is the best way to provide or live through an avalanche. Skiers and others on the slopes are told to go with a friend. It's also key to have the right tools. A beacon sends out a beep that tells searchers where to dig. A probe helps find someone who has been buried. It can also tell the depth of the snow. A shovel can be used to dig out. With these avalanche safety tips in mind, people continue enjoying winter sports and nature at its finest. Um, that's another reason why your mom or dad or adults are always telling you to do things in groups, because if you are alone and you get hurt, there might not be anyone there to help you. If you go skiing or um, anything like that with someone, they can help if there is an avalanche. We are going to do some more in our reading writing companion, and you guys have two options. You can either log into Wonders and read this on your own, or no, sorry, you can log into Wonders and have this read it to you, or you can do it in your reading writing companion and read it on your own. As you are reading it, I want you to take notes. Understand why you are reading. Helps you adjust how you read. For example, if you are reading for information, you might reread sections to make sure that you're fully understanding that. Preview the text like we did earlier. I know slow and steady. Something's going to happen here that maybe it doesn't happen right away. As you read, I want you to make note of words that you think are interesting. Maybe you don't know what they mean. Maybe they sound funny. Maybe you want to remember to look into those. And then I want you to write just one thing that you think is a key detail in this section of the text. So what I want you to do now is I want you to pause me and read this or listen to this, and then fill this part in. When you are done, you may push pause. Now that you have read this, we are going to compare and contrast. So we're going to underline in this first paragraph words that tell how some natural changes are different from other natural changes. And if we were to do that together, I can see right here, it says some of these changes take place slowly over many years. So I could highlight that. I could if I could do it on here, but I can't. So I'm going to underline that. Others happen in just minutes. Those aren't the ones that take a long time. That would be another thing I could underline. Let me move me. Now you're going to reread these paragraphs and circle 3 natural processes that slowly change the Earth's surface. That's all I want you to do right there. And when you are done, click on to the next page. And you are also going to listen to this, read it, or read it on your own. And while you are doing that, I want you to follow these things. We're going to compare and contrast in paragraphs 1 and 3. So 1, 2, 3. You're going to tell me 3 different ways people try to stop beach erosion. I know this summer my kids and I went to Silver Lake and we were at the sand dunes, and they were a lot different than they were last year because they have eroded and they have changed, and people there are constantly trying to stop the sand from moving as much because houses are in danger. So I think first let's just read this and see if we can figure out some compare and contrast. When you are done with that, let's go to paragraphs 4 and 5 and draw a box around the text that explains why volcanic eruptions and landslides are called natural disasters. Circle the words that explain how magma moves and what can happen when an eruption occurs without a warning. That can be very dangerous. So push pause and do that, and then we will move on to this section. What you're going to do here is, once again, you're going to listen to this. In paragraphs 1, 2, and 3, there's only 3 paragraphs. That's easy. The word slide is used as a verb. Underline the context clues, or underline over here the parts of the sentence that help give you meaning as to what slide means. And then in your reading writing companion, write another meaning for slide. Then you may click to the next page. This is our vocabulary. And what you are going to have to do is online, you can click this and listen to it. It is also an assignment in Wonders. So if you go to your login page, it will say week 1, day 1 vocabulary. And that is what you are going to be doing. You can either click on it and start typing like I was. You double click it and you type and then you add. If you have any questions about any of these vocabulary words, please send me an email or message me here and we will go from there.